It is the 18th of March 2020, and this is a talk by White Bull about the current concerns facing humanity on planet Earth. Greetings, I am White Bull. Hello dear friends, a very warm welcome to you. I come into your presence with much love and with much desire to make some small contribution now towards your greater inner freedom and your deeper inner peace. And I come on my own behalf, but on behalf also of so many others in the world of light who are serving you, who gather around you. And as some of you may have noticed in recent times, the separation, the appeared separation between the physical and the non-physical world is diminishing. There's a much greater sense of oneness between you and us. And of course, you sometimes talk about a spiritual world and a physical world. But we want to emphasize there is only one world. There is only one world of spirit. Some of you are encased within physical form. Others, like myself, are free of the human form. But it's never two worlds. It is one world. And what's happening in the one world now, especially those of you who are living in human form, you are facing a situation that may seem as if it has been imposed upon you. It has come from outside. But we want to say to you here that actually what comes into your world now as a challenge with this virus is in response to the invitation of the collective consciousness of humanity in your earnest desire for a change to happen, a healing to happen. So one could say that there is grace in this experience. There is certainly the reaction to your own calling, your own vocation, to be able to play a part in the uplifting of humanity and in the healing of all that troubles you on planet Earth. And so you find with this virus, as you call it, the gift, a collaborator, a co-conspirator, one could almost call it, working in harmony with you to begin to create the world that you wish for most of all. So we see it not as a crisis, as some people are calling it, but as a gift. And we see this gift also working out in already the changes that many are willing to take place in their lives, perhaps rather surprisingly. They are finding that that which once was so important to them is of less importance when the concerns about your personal health and safety and those of your loved ones are under consideration. It is also bringing out the best in many of the people, and this perhaps conforms to my own vision that some of you are aware of, my dream that mankind will become kind man, and throughout the universe the planet Earth will be known as the planet of kindness. This is an opportunity now for anyone to listen to that call, to bring out that which is most natural as a part of human spirit, to be kind. But what we also want to share with you is this, that this which you are now experiencing, shall we call it the first wave of transformation. But it has to happen first to affect humanity, our human friends. Because so much is already happening in your world that's affecting the animal kingdom, the nature forests, and so on and so on. But so little has really been done. There's been very little proactivity in terms of healing the crisis of your planet. But now that you, our dear human friends, are faced with this threat to your own survival, then governments are uniting, people are uniting to be able to take whatever steps will secure your future. But the future that actually affects everybody, even more than the transient existence of the human condition, is life upon Earth. So we see this as a kind of practice run, that as you are listening or living according to the restrictions that are being imposed upon you by your governments, actually, it's not that you have been living a stressful life and now you are moving into a more peaceful one. It is not that the chaos is now and it was not when you were having your other lives. The chaos was in the artificial lives that many people were forced to live as slaves to a system, which is now beginning to disintegrate in response to this present story of the virus. So now indeed we want our friends to welcome the freedom that comes with the present situation, to enjoy the space that is given to you. Space is such an important word. It's a very high vibration word. And even if you were to look with a special eye into your physical bodies, you would see that actually it is composed of more space than matter. So I want to also inspire you, dear friends, to reflect upon, to consider, to contemplate what space means to you, what you need in terms of space, to be grateful for the space that has now been given to you arising from this present situation. So if we take it to the next step, and you are now becoming used to and comfortable with this space, comfortable with the fact that you can do without things that you thought were essential to you, then it makes it much easier that you are ready to make changes, make sacrifices on behalf of the Earth Mother, on behalf of all life on planet Earth. It's not that the human life is under threat of extinction through the result of this virus, although some people, more negative people, may say so. But life on the planet as a whole is under a greater threat of extinction because of mankind's contribution to the pollution and because of forces that seem to be beyond your control. So, dear friends, we want to allow you, to invite you, to welcome even the changes that are happening, to discover that actually you are needing much less than you thought you were, that communities are mattering much more than being able to be at work on time, being able to keep up with their neighbors, being able to have all the luxuries that you think is so important to you. The sacrifice that you are making now is a wonderful start in this journey towards a greater liberation for all sentient beings. So what you also can understand from this is that in your world there are many kinds of people, from the most powerful to the most powerless, from the richest to the poorest. And what the virus teaches you, that everybody is equal under this one force, in the same way that everybody is equal in the eyes of God. And so now there's a chance also, through the experience of this, to consciously reclaim your power. Not only power in terms of your physical immunity, though that is a very important part of it, but where does your power go? Does your power go in being a follower of government dictates? Does your power go in terms of the demands that your material world makes upon you, the financial world makes upon you? Where is your power? Because if you are, as a collective, to extract the most from this experience and to be able to go on to play your role in the healing of the planet, then you have to call back your power. You have to find the truth, the absolute truth, that the only power you need is within you. And once more and more people taste this, that I'm absolutely sure that less and less people will want to go back to that experience of being disempowered by a society, by a structure, by a set of rules that keeps you as a slave. Freedom. What does freedom mean to you? How would it look? How would it feel? What little step can you now take today to bring you closer to your freedom? This is one of the questions that you can be asking yourself at this time. Make the most of the space that is given to you by the changes in the structure of your society, and expand into that space. Fill it. Don't keep yourself small. Don't worry about the future. When the future comes, it'll still be the now, so make the most of the now, instead of hoping that the now in the future will be better than the now. It can't be. There's nothing ever more wonderful, more beautiful, more whole, more complete than what you will find now, in this now of this very moment. So I have spoken often in the past about a moment that I've called the trumpet call, when the vanguard army will rise up and will move forward and be able to create this transformation on planet Earth. This is happening. You may want to even see the arrival of this virus, as you call it, as the trumpet call. That which is going to stir you and awaken you, to bring out the best in you, to put your fears on one side, to see a bigger vision than just the lives that you've had to live, where you have been surviving for all of these moons. The trumpet call is, as I said before, calling you to this movement, to be part of this great surge forward, especially for the sake of the planet Earth, your beautiful planet, your blue planet, and for all beings who inhabit it. It's your task now, dear friends, to play your role in this transformation. And now it is happening. It is happening with ease, with grace. It is happening with magic. Please, dear friends, see the grace and the magic and the miracles and the love that is even now expanding in the world as I am talking to you. Be a part of that movement. And the first qualification for those who want to play their role in the vanguard army is to get rid of all fear. And when you get rid of all fear, it is because you've also come to the realization that you are love. As a great teacher said 2,000 years ago, perfect love casts out fear. And love is not a sentiment, it's not the kind of love maybe you experience in your relationship. It is of the highest frequency, the highest vibration of all. So included in this calling that you are feeling drawn to, central to that calling, must be first your willingness, your readiness to let go of fear. And that you do not by just saying, okay, I'm not going to fear anymore. You let go of the fear by putting your attention upon love, the love that you are. It is in you. You don't have to feel it. Don't worry if you say, I can't feel the love. That comes at the end. The first thing is through your faith, you know, you deeply know that the true nature of you is love. And when you are really believing in that, then the fear will fall away. There is no oxygen for fear in the experience of love. Sometimes when the autumn comes, you look at the trees and you say, oh, the trees are letting go of the leaves. The trees are dropping the leaves. It's not like that. The tree is drawing its energy inwards, as a result of which the leaves drop off. So use this time that is given to you now for your own going within, for connecting to your true nature, connecting to the absolute truth of the love that you are. And that which is your fear, that which you use to cover yourself, like the leaves cover the trees, on its own account will fall away. And when you're in that alignment with your true nature, when you are love, then perhaps you'll even find a different way to tell people that you love them. Maybe that'll be the moment when you will say to your beloved one, I love you, and then think, oh, but this doesn't feel right anymore. Does this mean I don't love them? Maybe I have to find another way to say it. And then you will find yourself saying something like this: the love that I am honors and celebrates the love that you are. And when you can do that with your loved one, it's not a big step to start addressing everybody like that. The love that I am honors and celebrates the love that you are. The realization comes to you that if you are love, so everybody else is love. You're all one in that love. All one in that vibration. And in that vibration, when you are living it, you raise everything up to that vibration. As another great teacher said, I will raise all men up unto me. But what he really meant was, the I am that I am, the true nature, will raise everybody up to the level of their I am. This is the way forward now. To know your true identity, to awaken to the love that you are, to the peace that you are, to the forgiveness and perfection and innocence that you are. as a result of which your physical bodies will be strengthened. In the absence of fear also, then your own radiance is your protection. If we would think of times earlier, 2,000 years ago, when there were many illnesses and diseases, and perhaps leprosy was a very big one, but there was no mention of the Master Jesus putting on rubber gloves and a mask to heal the leper. His protection was in his faith and his connection to Source, in his absolute fearlessness. So I'm not suggesting right now that you go out and hug everybody in the street and maybe risk an infection. That's not what I'm suggesting, but as a stage to move towards, as a step in your own freedom, it is to know your protection, your absolute protection, is in the radiance of the love that shines from you. I want to give you, dear friends, as a focus of contemplation this. How might your lives change with the experience of a fearless, radiant heart? If that was yours, what would change in your life? I think a lot. I don't want to fill in the answers for you, but anyway, I think that life would be more joyful. You would feel the connections. Your mind would be quiet. Now that's a very big one to consider. That you will no longer be slave of your mind, but obedient to your deepest knowing, to your highest truth. In the absence of fear, then yes, why would you want to protect yourself? What would be the point of an ego? An ego is only there as a protection, because if at some moment then you are experiencing a fear or a misunderstanding of your true nature. In the experience of a fearless, radiant heart, you're only ever going to see the beauty in another. In the experience of a fearless, radiant heart, you're going to be able to really see deeply the same in another. And if every human being on earth now had that opportunity to feel truly seen in the depths of their being, in their innocence, in their perfection, then, dear friends, within a generation, you would have world peace. Consider that. Consider that every time you view the most deepest element of the person you are with and see them as the love that you are making your own little contribution to world peace. Let that become the most contagious element upon the planet. Not that which reveals itself in this virus and its potentials. A fearless, radiant heart. It would ask you then to be willing to let go of the attachments that you have, the identifications that you have, positive and negative, because an identification is always going to be something that in one way you are hiding behind. It will ask you to let go of resentments. It will ask you to stand in forgiveness, which is not to say to somebody, you did wrong, but I let you off the hook. It is also to see the innocence in everyone. It will ask you to free yourself of your own inner judge, that pathologically lying control freak with no sense of humor that has one desire only, which is to keep you small and to hold you in the past. It must go. It was conceived out of an untruth. All of these steps and more are implicit within the willingness to embrace the fearless, radiant heart. Part of the protection that arises out of the fearless, radiant heart is that you can no longer be a sponge for the negativity and the fear that is also all around you. The experience of a fearless, radiant heart creates an atmosphere around you in the same way that your beloved earth has its own atmosphere. It will immunize you from the fear that is around you. If you had the eyes to see, you would see clouds, not like the physical clouds that precipitate rain, but you would see the clouds of fear that precipitate that same into the hearts and minds of many. You don't want to be a part of that. You want to be there in your light, in your truth. You want to be there, sometimes they would call it manning the lifeboats. There, standing as an example of truth, rescuing people who are suffering in the shipwreck of the structures of society that are just disintegrating around them. And all that they held a belief in, all that they invested in, suddenly is of no value at all. This is going to be one of the great and most important roles that, as members of the Vanguard Army, you can play, to be there as the embodiment of truth, shining the fearless, radiant heart. And people will recognize the truth. They hunger for truth. Imagine this. Really, it is the greatest soul work that you can do, to stand as an embodiment of truth, and therefore set others free from their fear. Their fear, which has meant them invest in belief systems and collectives that actually can't stand up anymore to the pressure that comes from the energies of light that are shining upon earth from the invisible realm. And there will be casualties to these changes, but that's all right. There is no death, there is no ending. When you look into the deepest part of yourself, you will realize the truth that you were never born and you will never die. There was never a moment when you were not. And so there'll be those who will take advantage of what is taking on planet Earth now as their way to exit from the physical level and to rejoin the loved ones in the non-physical. This is not a tragedy. Words like tragedy are not helpful. Even words like crisis are not helpful. This is just a movement of energy, like a wind, like a storm, a hurricane blowing through your town. This is a movement of energy that has its function to wake up, to heal, to cleanse, to realign, to reset humanity in a path towards a more global perspective. One where, by seeing only the beauty, they will feel themselves a part of the whole. They will feel connected. And everything, every living creature will respond. Because everything, as you know, dear friends, everything is a vibration. So the more that you are attuning to the higher vibrations, the more that the vibrations will change around you. Think of that. Think of it, your duty, your task, your desire is simply to embody the highest frequency, the highest vibration, which of course is part of the fearless state. In the same way that if you were a singer and you sang a very high note in your room, there would be objects in your room that would vibrate to the sound of the voice. In the same way, when your spirit is vibrating at that very high level, when your being is, then everything around will start to vibrate as well. This is just how it works. This is a physical law, not just a spiritual law. So allow yourself, unchain yourself from the attachments and the illusions and the judgments and the associations to be able to rise up to this highest vibration that you can, to experience space truly, that you are the space, you are the limitless being, that you're bringing out the highest within you, as was invited 2,000 years ago for you all to do. So, that, dear friends, is my message, my basic message for you now. To welcome all that is happening, to see the grace not only in this event that is touching so many people, but to see the grace and the magic in everything that has happened in your life. To see the potential for change, to acknowledge that even if it doesn't seem yet part of your conscious awareness, the arrival of this event is a response to your own calling and your own desire to change and transform the experience of life on earth for everything and everyone. All is well. All is well. All is eternally well. So, on behalf of all your loved ones in the world of light, I leave you with my love and my blessing and my prayers, of course, for the healing of everything that stands between you and your perfect good, between you and your true inner peace, and that everything will conform to that to lead you to a place of endless joy and perfect and eternal love. And with all love to you, I say, God be with you.
Thank you very much.